Hello and welcome to another End User Talk podcast. I'm your hostess, Jamila, your Lady in Tech. Hello and welcome to the End User Talk podcast. Today's guest is Beez. Beez, how are you doing today? And thank you for being a part of the podcast. And how's it going?
I'm doing great, Jamelia. Thanks for having me on. Doing good today. I'm just working on my master class that I have going on tomorrow. So outside of that, everything else is great.
Well, that sounds great. So, how about you introduce yourself? What is Beez known for?
So I think I'm known for a lot of things, but what I'm most known for at this point is the Financial Starter Kit. It's my book about financial literacy. It's like an all-in-one financial guide for millennials and just anybody who feels like they weren't taught financial literacy or they weren't taught about money. It's the all-in-one guide for you to know everything that you need to know about financial literacy. So literally anything about bank accounts, savings, checkings, how to save, how to allocate your money, how to create, like I call it money allocation. So how to allocate your money, how to invest, savings, insurance, what not to do when it comes to going to college, and like what not to do when it's time to have a wedding. And then also like what to look out for when it's time to purchase a house or a car. So it has all of that information in there. And that's what I'm most known for. But I also have a defense industry guide where I teach people how to get into the defense industry, and not to get confused with people who are teaching you how to get your own defense industry contracts. This is for getting into the actual industry. So working for the federal government or one of the intelligence agencies like CIA, FBI, DIA, somebody like that, or just a government contractor company. So people might have heard of Boeing. I know everybody's heard of Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, Leidos, companies like that. So it helps you get into the industry. And then I also have some investing guides and an investing course that I'm working on. So yeah, I have a lot of different things that I do and that I'm teaching people about.
Well, that sounds amazing. So you've got your hands in so many different pots. It's going to be kind of hard to hit all the high points, but I'll definitely do my best to make sure that the people have the information that they need to encourage them in whatever it is that they're trying to do, especially in the realm of financial literacy. I think, especially with what we're going through now, and sadly, prior to pre-COVID, there were so many people who were struggling with finances, whether that is employment, saving, maintaining themselves. I think financial awareness is definitely important. Where exactly or how do you place yourself or consult individuals? Where do you begin if someone comes to you and they're looking for financial security, stability?
Well, I don't do any public consultations anymore. So just starting out, typically what I tell people to do, my framework to financial freedom is to first figure out how can you increase your income. You know, now with COVID going on, it's kind of hard for people to figure out what they can do to increase their income. But there are ways for you to still make money right now. So I saw like a tweet on Twitter that went viral a couple of days ago, and it went viral because people like they disagreed with it. But somebody was basically saying, you know, right now there's Door Dashers who are making $1,000 a week. Yeah, they're working a ton of hours, but you know, $1,000 a week is still much better than if they were making, you know, minimum wage or $15 an hour, whatever it is. You know, it's still good for right now for them to be able to bring in money and still take care of their family. So, you know, you just have to be aware of these opportunities that are available. So, you know, if your back is against the wall, you kind of just have to figure out what you're going to do to increase your income. So keep an open mind and just look for those opportunities. And then after you increase your income, I tell people that they should start saving money. Start saving up until you have an emergency fund. And once you have your emergency fund, what you can do after that is start paying down consumer debt. So any credit cards, any personal loans, anything like that. And once you have those taken care of, I definitely recommend you to start investing. So when you start investing, you can invest in stocks. Definitely this entire time, if you have a job and have an opportunity to do it, be investing in your 401k or TSP the entire time. But outside of that, you can invest in a Roth IRA, or you can invest in real estate, or try to find ways to create passive income. So once you go through that cycle and you're able to just keep increasing your income, generating passive income, buying assets, it will help you reach financial freedom. So, but to start out, for anybody that's coming to me, step one is definitely to figure out how to increase your income.
All right, that sounds like a very good start. Now, someone who we all hear about the stock market being volatile, and even with stocks, it's me, myself personally, it is a little overwhelming trying to understand how the stock market works and what you need in order to invest. If someone is wanting to take, that leap and invest in the stock market, and clearly there's other things to do, but specifically speaking to stocks, how much money realistically does someone need to get started?
Honestly, you can get started investing into the market with as little as $10 if you start with a platform or a brokerage like Robinhood. But I definitely recommend people to start on a platform more like M1 Finance, because it's not as gamified and it's built for long-term investing, versus Robinhood, where it's really for people. Most people who get on Robinhood, they're looking to like trade. They start finding out about options, and then it kind of turns more into gambling and not investing. So I would say like $100, you can get started. You can pick out your portfolio. I have blogs on. You could literally copy my portfolio, but I recommend you to do your own research. And the blog breaks down exactly how to pick your portfolio and what companies you can invest in. But I definitely recommend you, even with the $100, you take that, you build your portfolio. M1 Finance has what they call, it's called fractional shares. So any company, you can invest in it. No matter how little or how much money you have, you're able to invest. And basically it breaks the shares down into pieces. And on M1, they call those like a slice of the pie. So let's say you were trying to invest in Apple. I'm not sure where Apple is today. Let's say it's $150, and you had $10 you wanted to put in Apple. So basically you would get a fraction of that Apple share. So a lot of people say, well, that's no money, but investing is long-term. It's a long-term game. It's not all about how much you can put today. It's about how long you're invested in the market and how long you allow your money to grow. So the benefits of fractional shares is that once you get into a company via fractional shares, as soon as it starts to go up in price, you immediately gain profits from that. So compared to traditional brokerages that don't have fractional shares, like if you didn't have that full $150, you wouldn't even be able to invest in Apple. You'd have to wait until you got the $150 to invest one share, versus you put your $10 in, and then let's say Apple went up 10%. So you got a 10% gain there. Now, granted, it's not going to be a much dollar-wise, but when it comes to investing, it's all about the percentages. It's not about how much money you got back. It's about how much did you get in a return in terms of percentages.
So I've dabbled a little bit into this, and you mentioned Robinhood. I myself have, I'm playing around with Robinhood right now. So again, I don't have a whole lot of knowledge or understanding of the stock market, but I subscribe to your financial starter kit. I got the electronic version of it when you had it on. You had a discount on it, I want to say about a year ago. So I took advantage of that. Now, I did see where you broke down with the M1 investment app. You broke down 20 different companies to invest in. Of those, Tesla, Amazon, Apple, and some of the other bigger ones, Beyond Meat, those were some that you had amongst your 20 list, 20 companies to invest in. Now, are fractional shares similar to mutual funds, where instead of you putting the majority of your money or funding into one company or one or two large companies, you're actually breaking down your finance or whatever it is you're investing in multiple companies. Are they similar in that regard?
Yeah, so it's really similar. It's basically with the fractional shares and you create your portfolio in M1 Finance, you're basically creating your own index fund, right? So let's say if you invested into an index fund like VTSAX, which tracks the S&P 500. Some people might not be familiar with that, but basically it's the top 500 stocks in the New York Stock Exchange. So let's say you didn't want to put your money in all 500 stocks and you like 5 specific companies, right? So you can create a portfolio with those 5 companies, and every time you put $100 in your portfolio, it would break that $100 down by those 5 companies if you had it an even percentage. So it would break it down by $20 to each company, right? So every time you put $100 in, you got $20 going into each company. Now, the benefits of this, like I was saying before, I'm sure you know, Tesla has went up like 600%, right? So let's say you put that $20 into Tesla and it goes up 600%. Your $20 is now worth $120. And that's the power of fractional shares. And that's the power of being able to pick whatever stocks you want, because Tesla was just added into the S&P 500 this past month. So if you were only invested in the index funds like VTSAX or any other index funds that are out there, you would have missed all of those gains that Tesla has been providing over the past year, versus you created your own basically index fund on M1 Finance and you invested into whatever stocks you wanted to. And you can also invest in index funds on M1 Finance. So that's the good thing about it too. So I have multiple portfolios on there. So one of my portfolios is mostly all index funds, and it has a couple REITs in it. And REITs are real estate investment trust. So basically it allows you to invest in real estate without actually buying the property.
Okay, so yes, I'm glad you talked about that. And you're using terms that I'm unfamiliar with, but a portfolio basically allows you to pretty much cherry pick or customize what you would like to invest in. And I do like that idea, because so many people are concerned. Okay, yes, I may have $100, but I don't want to throw that $100 into one company, and then that $100 that I had, the company, of course, the market is volatile. It's up, it's down. And then you're not really reaping the benefit, if you will, if that's all you had. But as you stated, it's not a race. It is definitely a marathon, in that you're not living as a day trader. Those goals are more for a day trader, the individuals who are just investing in the market short term and trying to get their a quick turnaround or return, if you will. Kind of like the individuals who invest in Forex.
Right. That's all day trading, right? So that's where I think a lot of people, they just get confused, right? Long-term investing and day trading it's night and day. There's two different things. Day trading is a job. Long-term investing is not a job. It's passive investing. The most time-consuming part of long-term investing is doing the research on the companies that you want to invest in. And even that, it's not like it takes that long. You might do maybe 2-3 hours of research if you want to do that much time. So 2-3 hours of research on a company. You decide if you want to invest or not. You hit buy on it, and that's that, right? You just hold it until either something changes with the company, right? So if something that they were doing before and they decide, okay, we're not doing that anymore, or if their entire business model changed, then you can say, all right, well, I don't want to be invested in this company anymore. I'm going to sell these shares and then move them somewhere else, right? So long-term investing is very passive. It's not just like you were saying, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's just all about just being invested and staying invested. So you don't want to be dipping into your long-term investment funds. You want this money to really grow for as long as possible until you really need it.
Right. So when I first started, I looked into E-Trade, and E-Trade basically let me know, just like what you just stated, is they are not a company that allows you to do fractional. And at the time when that gentleman explained that to me, I'm like, okay, so I'd have to, if I wanted to invest in Tesla at the time, they were $600 a share at that particular time. I would have had to have $600. I'm sorry, not Tesla, but E-Trade doesn't, the options that they do have the mutual fund option, but in order to break in and take part of that, they already have them pretty much so customized for you. You would need at least $500 to break into that particular margin if you wanted to go with a company like E-Trade or possibly Fidelity and some of the other larger investment or brokerage firms. So it does help to have someone like yourself break this down in an elementary or layman's terms. So someone like myself who is brand new to the stock market, stocks and bonds, the exchanges, IRAs, and all of those other little terms that are out there, so that someone can kind of get out there and figure out, well, what best suits me? What best suits my pocketbook right now? So in that regard, how does someone find a way to get themselves in this position? What are they looking for? Or how would they research to find out if stocks is best for them, or CDs or bonds?
So first I wanted to say something too, because just how you were saying like Fidelity. So Fidelity, I think they recently added fractional shares. Like that's how big fractional shares is. And that's how M1 Finance really got so big and popular. So Fidelity has actually added fractional shares now. So if you wanted to use them for fractional shares, you definitely can do that. But back to how somebody can do research on these stocks. So I really recommend people to go to a website called Seeking Alpha. So Seeking Alpha, they allow you to research companies. Anytime there's any like news articles that come up, it will show up right there with the companies that you're researching. It shows you like the dividend, past history. It shows you the past growth for the stocks. Any information you need, any like the PE ratio, any volume, like short interest, open interest, things like that. So all the information that you need is there. And then I also really just recommend people, like if you really want to get into stocks, if you're on Twitter is really the best place to do this. You can make a list on Twitter if you don't want it on your main timeline. But just start following like stock accounts. So maybe like Wall Street Journal. There's some other ones. I literally just sent the email out yesterday about how to do research on these stocks. Hold on a second. I just want to pull this up so I can give an accurate list of these companies. Okay, so here are the different websites where you can go to do research. So like I said before, Seeking Alpha, Yahoo Finance, Market Watch, and then also FinViz. It's FINVIZ. You can go there and you can see like a heat map, which is basically like a big map of all of the stocks in the stock market. And like if it's red for the day, it'll show red on the map. And if it's green, it'll show green. So it kind of gives you an overview of what's going on with the market. And then if you're into charting, which I'm pretty sure, if people aren't into stocks at all, they probably don't know anything about charting. But if you wanted to look at stock charts, I recommend TradingView. It's a free website and they allow you to look at the charts for free. And then on Twitter, when you're following these accounts, the accounts that I recommend you to follow is Market Currents, and that's with an S, CURRENTS, Stock Twits. So that's stock and then Twits, TWITS. And then another page is called Breakout Stocks, and that's plural. And then WSJ Markets, plural as well, and NY Times Business. So those are 5 different accounts that you can follow, and they'll really keep you up to date with what's going on. Anything that's going on with companies or the market in general, these pages will keep you up to date. So, because people ask me that all the time, they're like, how do you know about all this stuff going on? Really, it's like I see it coming across my timeline as it's happening. So I don't have to like go out of my way to go find it and see what's going on with the market. It just comes right across my timeline. And then I'm also checking the market throughout the day, just because I'm trying to get more involved in the market as well. So the more that you're actually committed to this journey of just being invested and being an investor, and the more that you actually pay attention to it, the better off you'll be. So it's just like, any skill that you're trying to develop, you're not going to become good at it if you just practice the skill once every 2 months. So you actually want to like immerse yourself into the skill, into whatever it is that you're doing, so you can get better at it. So even if you decide to check the market, maybe like every Monday and every Friday, like just to see what's going on, that'll be helpful for you.
What does it say? Practice makes perfect. So definitely you can't do something one time and expect to be an expert or subject matter expert in anything, to be perfectly honest. I do want to congratulate you on your financial starter kit being a part of the Amazon's bestseller list. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm still kind of shocked about it.
Well, that's one of those things, you get taken aback when you're doing something. You're not always trying to do something in order for popularity. A lot of times it's just a matter of you going out there and saying, you know what, I want to help somebody. If I had these resources, or if I had this tool or this information when I was, younger, or my family, my parents had it, it would have been great. And sometimes we're composing. We have the ability now to compose all of these ideas and put them in useful books, ebooks, and little pamphlet things and courses. We have platforms now where we can make it happen. And if people are really benefiting from it, hey, you deserve to be on a bestsellers list, right? So congrats. Congrats, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's really why I do everything that I do. I just do it to help out other people because, I wish I had that help. People don't realize, I had to learn everything by experience. There weren't too many things where people told me, hey, yeah, don't do that, do this. Like, I learned it by experience. I had to research. I started my financial literacy journey when I was 19, and I'm still learning different things. Like, stuff gets complicated the further you go. So like different tax planning, tax strategies, wills and trust. Like it gets complicated as you get further. So there's still some things that I'm learning, but I just wanted to be able to help people not make those same mistakes, because just like the title of the book, I just see people fall into the same traps, and then they're always so confused, like, how did I get here? So I just want to help people like avoid those things that really society is setting you up for failure for.
And that's another thing. I mean, that's definitely a benefit to have so many individuals out there willing to share these secrets, if you will, or secrets to success for staying financially stable. Everyone thinks they have to be a millionaire, and sometimes it's not about being a millionaire. Sometimes it's just, you know what, I need to have financial stability. Learn how to have financial stability first, and then, get yourself gradually in the position to where you're not living check to check as most people are. So I'm appreciative for you sharing, because so many people also, they know how to do these things. They are doing well, but they don't want to share the information. To me, that's selfish.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? So it's crazy, because I've been on Twitter for a long time now. I've been on Twitter for a while, probably since I think 2009 I've been on Twitter, but I didn't start like tweeting about money and stuff like that until I got to college. And when I started really getting into financial literacy, because it was all new information to me. So, I was literally basically just tweeting what I was going through and just tweeting my thoughts and everything that I was learning. And it would be older people. They always say, like, you're talking about money too much. Shouldn't be talking about salaries and stuff like that. But that's really our issue in our community, is that if we don't talk about these things, how are we going to get better? So nobody's talking about money. Nobody's talking about finances. Nobody talking about stocks, investing, nothing. So everybody just has to learn everything the hard way. When now with the internet, we can really just teach each other very easily. Like it's not like it's hard to spread information nowadays. It's super easy to get information out there. So there's really no need to even hold on to it.
And, the downside is even just within the Black community, so many of us are at such a disadvantage in this area. A lot of us didn't have or get taught in the home. Well, there's a lot of us who have had that experience where we weren't necessarily taught how to balance your checkbook, keep savings, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
It's a true struggle. And then you find yourself, like you said, at 19, trying to figure out, how do I make this thing happen? You know, I've got to get a job. And then when I do get that job, I've got to make money. I want to live a certain way. I want to drive a car. I want to do this and I want to travel. It takes money to do all those things. And if you are someone who is constantly looking at someone else doing it and not really and truly understanding that there's a plan, it takes a plan. It's a process. You can't just go out and go travel and not have a preparation for that. You've got a plan. It doesn't happen overnight. So many people, especially with all of these influencers, the social media influencers, we're looking at these individuals and, you know, they're buying their first homes, you know, they're buying these expensive cars and they're taking these extravagant trips. And there's nothing wrong with having those things and dreaming big. But what does it take to actually get that? It's not an overnight success. And even their journey, some of them, yes, it was an overnight success, if you will. But others, they've been working on it. It's being developed. They've been growing. And now you're seeing the end result to their hard work. But even with that, you've got to know how to budget, balance, and also understand you can't just buy and spend everything. You don't have to spend to the nth to your account in order to get to whatever. And sadly, so many people are broke because of that.
Also, and then like, let's not get it twisted. A lot of the influencers, most of the stuff is paid for through sponsorships or like a company literally already paid for. So the trips are completely paid. They're sponsored trips. The houses, usually most of them are rented. The cars, most of them are rented. So it's like, you know, you just have to make sure that you don't get so caught up on what a lot of influencers are doing, because at the end of the day, most of them are really just online marketers. So everything is just marketing, and they're just trying to figure out, okay, how can I get more people to gravitate towards me, to buy these products I'm promoting, to buy my merch, to buy this, to buy that. It's not really about any wealth, and it's definitely not about helping people. Most of it's like entertainment. So you just have to remember that a lot of that stuff is already paid for by another company. Like I literally see influencers all the time. Like they'll go on paid vacations. Like there's been influencers, they'll be paid by Delta to go on like an extravagant trip to some resort. Or like they'll go to like recently there was a bunch of YouTubers. They all went to some resort in like I think it was in Colorado. Like that's all paid for. So you know, you just have to always keep that in mind.
I'm so glad you said that.
Like it's all of that stuff is paid for. Like most of the stuff, like I'm not even gonna lie to you. The bigger you become on social media, the more free stuff that you get, and the more companies reach out to you and just give you free stuff. Like people send me free stuff all the time, and I'm grateful for it. But you know, I will never act like, okay, yeah, you know, I paid for this or I paid for that. You just get sent free stuff all the time, the bigger that you get online. So it's just something to definitely keep in mind. Like I said, I've never had any trips or anything like that paid for, besides anything that's paid for by my company on per diem. But outside of that, you know, just got to keep it in mind. Most of it's sponsored, paid for already.
Yeah, you know what? Jamila needs some sponsorship like that. So if y'all are listening, send her something. But no, it's definitely true. There's those are the things that we have to keep in mind. And it just doesn't happen overnight. There's hard work that's associated with it, but you have to have some sort of education, some sense. And you don't have to be an accountant, mind you, but you do need to have a basic understanding on how money works and how it will work for you if you're able to apply it in areas that will be beneficial and not destructive. Because with that being said, we have to not just look for right now. We need to plan for the future. What are you going to do for your future 10 years from now? I mean, 5 years is half away. You know, you're looking 5 years. Are you still going to be in the same place financially 5 years and then 10 years and 15 years? No one thinks about the long haul. which is why I do like the idea of the fractional shares and investing in stock market, or not stock market, but mutual funds and things of that nature, because you're not looking for a quick turnaround, that lottery win, if you will. So that's definitely, and it also teaches you patience.
Yep. Which is very big. Like, we just need to have patience. So that's why I always, when people ask me like, oh, how can I flip my money? I hate when people say that, because I'm not teaching people how to flip their money. I'm teaching people how to grow their net worth long term, how to get more assets, how to get more money over time, how to increase their income. I'm not teaching anybody how to do anything quickly. It's not a quick flip. So that really does not last. So you really want something that's going to last long term. And really, when you study all the greats, or you study what's been working for everybody, this is what works. Just long term investing, buying assets, get your first house, maybe move into another one. If you want to house hack the first one, that gives you your investment properties right there. And then you move into another house. Now you have two units that are paying you monthly. So, there's ways to do it, and you just have to really just keep the long-term goal in mind, because you can't live your life like you're not going to be here when you're 60, 70, 80, maybe even 90 years old. So you have a long life to live.
That is so true. I have 3 daughters myself, and they're young women. My youngest is, she'll be 19 this year. Hopefully I don't have that wrong. And I have a 20-year-old, and my oldest daughter is 23. So I am very interested in making certain that they don't make the same mistakes that I made. Outside of having money, the other thing that's very important is to maintain good credit. I recently purchased a new home, and
Congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I'm glad that my daughters are the ages that they are, and they've gone through this journey with me, because they got to see the behind the scenes. Credit played a very big part in me being able to get the loan, get approved for the loan. And then through this process, maintaining the credit. So many people don't understand that just having money is not the only key to this success, this journey that we're trying to make. They also have to have their credit in line. And although most people don't really understand credit, the two are married. They are in line with one another. But I am glad that my daughters were able to go through this journey with me and experience and see that it isn't just a matter of, I'm looking for a house. I bought a house. I'm moving into my house. There's so much in between. And now they can take that process seriously. And when they're ready to buy their first condo, townhouse, even house at some point in time in their life, they'll understand what they need to do in order to build that. What do you have to say to young people, or what type of encouragement can you give someone? And I don't really want to just say young people, but we have to kind of start there, who are trying to find their way, especially in the age that we're in right now with COVID, and trying to get themselves their budgets in order, finding jobs. What type of encouragement do you have for someone who is trying to climb up and find themselves out of that hole?
Yeah, so first I just want to say to just never give up. That's really the main key, never giving up. And then setting and defining your goals, like where do you want to get to? Where do you see yourself in a year or 5 years? And like, if you're trying to get more income and you feel like you're kind of lost out here, I would say start looking around and start researching in-demand skills in 2021. And start figuring out how can you gain these skills from home, because a lot of these skills you don't have to go to school and college anymore to be able to make good money. So, try and see which skills can you gain from home. Are you able to just do some projects or get a certification sponsored by somebody who will pay for it and help you get to where you need to be at? Or do you have to save over time and save a little bit for getting that certification? So, I definitely just recommend people look and see what's out there, look and see what is close within reach to you, And once you start building up momentum and moving forward, it's going to be hard to stop you from there. So, but number one thing is to never stop going and to make sure you have a goal and an end goal in mind.
Now, you've mentioned several things that you actually have your hands in. Can I ask, is there one thing of all the things that you do that is your passion project?
Yeah, so I have a group coaching. I do group coaching, and so the program within the group coaching is called Your 100K Year, and I consider that my passion project. Like every time I do something for Success Life Society, I also call it SLS. Every time I do something for SLS, I'm just always so excited. So like last night, I had somebody come on and speak to everybody in SLS about career and resume tips for 2021 and LinkedIn tips. And it was just such a good call. We were on there for an hour and a half. But I meet with my group coaching clients once or twice, sometimes 3 times a week. And I give them private consultations as well. So they get 2 consultations out of the year. But to me, that is my passion project. I have something else that I want to do for sure, which will be more in line with tech and giving out scholarships. So that's something that I want to start working on probably towards the end of this year. But SLS is definitely that's my hands down passion project. I just love helping people reach their goals. I think that I can pretty much help anybody increase their income and start making passive income.
Well, that sounds great. And one thing that I have noticed with a lot of the people that I've had the opportunity of interviewing who have had the ability to find success in, various ways, that's one of the ways that they've been able to give back is through these mentorship programs. And also, well, the mentorships, I think, add a personal touch because clearly when you have someone that you're able to communicate with verbally, you're able to, interact with them in a manner. Sometimes it's just hard for you to feel motivated. You're listening to people talk and give lectures or write material or do the videos and things of that nature. But when you have a mentorship, to me, that it's a bond and it's something very personal, if you will, because someone is able to look at you in the eyes and they're able to see the expressions on your face and ask questions. And also you're able to share your journey and your experiences with them and just being able to, just take all of that in on a more personal level. It says a lot. So, and then you giving your time and not being selfish and sharing these gems of information with other people just to help them. That, it speaks volumes.
Yeah, that's really what I love to do. I love to do this. I did it for free for so many years. It just became so overwhelming. So, but like I said, I want to be able to give back and to help more people once I start up my next project that I'm working on. But yeah, I just love helping other people. Like if I'm the only one that's, rising to success and everybody else is trying to figure out how to get there. And then, you're just looking at people like they're asking you. So I'm pretty sure you probably see it like people who are successful, people asking them questions and they don't respond to anybody. They don't interact with anybody. So that's the thing that I like to do. Even now to this day, I have almost 30,000 followers on Twitter. I still interact with pretty much everybody. So, only reason why I wouldn't interact is if I don't see it. So, but, I just love interacting and making sure that I'm able to still answer people's questions, guide them into the right direction. But, I just can't give personal one-on-one help for free anymore just because I just don't have the time.
And that is definitely understandable. I can say this much with just the fact that you're putting out publishing material that people do have access to. It, in all honesty, it's really and truly up to the individual as to what information to do the research, to find the resources, the tools. There's so much out here, YouTube, and you've got just all of social media, honestly, just the internet as a whole. So many people say that they don't have the money in order to afford to go to take certain classes or what have you, but there's so much information out here. You just also gave us things if you're active on Twitter, different if you're interested in investing and trying to get that research for yourself instead of having to do it like you had to do years ago, where it was more you kind of had to know somebody and be in a certain network in order to obtain certain information. You just shared different companies and different ways that you can actually add to your Twitter line to help you stay abreast to the information that's out there that, under normal circumstances, you may not have had access to. So it really and truly is up to the individual. If you want to make a change in your present circumstance and or condition, you've got to go out there and ask. You've got to participate. You've got to take advantage of the information that is out there. And hopefully at some point, something will get a little closer to you and knock on your door and have exactly what you need in order to help you get over your hump. And you can be the person out there that will turn around and share that information and pass it down instead of keeping it, because, none of us are going to do better if we hold all of the information and we're not willing to share. And if you're afraid of someone becoming more successful than you or have more money than you, that's a very lonely way to live, honestly. So thank you for taking time out to share your gems of information and spending your time to help others who are seeking to make themselves better. I know that this is in the realm of finance, but just a quality of life is what people should, and hopefully someone, and everybody, again, like I said, is not going to be a millionaire, but your quality of life should be improved. It should be better than.
Right. And I just believe that my goal is to make sure that anybody comes in contact with me, I just want everybody to be able to live comfortable, because it's not out of reach. Everybody can live a comfortable life, not really have to want for much. And like I said, they can start creating passive income to where the money is coming in that they're not actually trading their time for. So it's definitely attainable. It's just going to take time. And you just have to come up with a plan and a strategy to get there. But yeah, I'm thankful for you to invite me on here. I had a great time talking with you. And if anybody is looking for anything that I offer, you can find the Financial Starter Kit at financialstarterkit.com. It's on Amazon as well. And then also anything else that you're looking for in terms of, like, if you are interested in joining my group coaching program, or you're looking for the defense industry guide or my free M1 guide, just go to links.capitalsb.com and everything will be there. So my Twitter, Instagram, all the links that you need, links.capitalsb.com.
Well, Beez, it's been a pleasure, and I do thank you for accepting my invitation to be a part of the podcast. And anyone who is looking to better themselves personally, professionally, financially, career-wise, please listen, follow Beez on Twitter. Do you mind giving us your Twitter handle?
Oh, yeah. My Twitter handle is capital_SB.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Appreciate it. Continued success, and congratulations and all the things that you do. You're welcome back anytime.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime you want to talk about anything else, anything more specific, we can talk about it. So yeah, just invite me back whenever you want me to talk.
Anytime. Appreciate it. We've come to the close of another episode of the End User Talk podcast. I hope that what you've heard today will leave you feeling empowered. Thank you for listening. And remember, every day's a training day.